we can finally talk about my wife Moran and why she has become one of the strongest B1s in the game after her treasure. So that's going to be today's topic video. As usual, hello the universe, welcome back to Return Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict, and I want to go a little bit over Moran, the tests we've been doing, a little bit on where she's on my account, and where she is on the tier list as well right now. If you don't want to watch the whole video, she is a T1 character, okay? Why? Well, let's go with everything else, but that's where she is at the moment. Her treasure is really solid. Both her and Privacy are the best treasures this batch. Privacy might end up being even better, but we'll see. We need to test a little bit more for that. That's it. Let's talk about Moran, where she's right now on my account, what I've been doing to test, and a few more things. The first is where she is right now. So, Overload level 0, really bad gear, ammo attack ammo once again. I rerolled this earlier. It was a basic hit rate line. Now it's max ammo elemental. And then lastly, one attack. So really bad lines overall, to be fair. Core 7, level 0, 4, 10, 7. We'll talk about skills later. She's been using a resilience cube. I used Moran yesterday, and you guys can, if you are interested in watching it, I used Moran for the 2 new hard mode chapters. So if you go into this bot, last one, we did both chapters with Moran. I got into the boss. I haven't killed the boss yet, 44-35 right now. But I got there just with her as my B1. So my team yesterday, what I was pushing, instead of this normal team, right, with Rappi and whatever other B3 you are using, was Moran, and I was using both Wind Girls because they are chapters with the wind, so I was running this for the whole campaign. Now, yes, Liberalio will give the buff to my Helm a lot of the times, and she will be missing it on SBS, but you'll see later that one of the downsides Moran has is the burst generation. That's why we were running Helm for that extra burst. So that was my team, no problems getting into the boss whatsoever. So let's go a little bit over her normal kit and what has changed and why she's so good now. When we talk about normal Moran kit, right, like normal Moran kit, the worst part about her kit is that she's a 40-second cooldown character, and that fucks up completely everything good she could have, which she doesn't have anything good. Skill 1, it's some defense increase while dealing some extra damage after landing 5 normal attacks on her burst only. Skill 2 will down for 4 seconds, and then when her HP falls below 20%, it will increase her HP a lot. This is pretty good. It's only once per battle here, but it's still pretty good for PvP. And then her burst, 40 seconds, changes her weapon type, similar to Summer Neon, and then applies damage taken to reduced to everyone on the team with defense increase. This is actually pretty decent. Like, this burst is pretty decent. The problem is, since she's 40 seconds and she has no offensive buffs, for PvE, it was useless. So what has changed on skill 1, both the defense and damage is still the same. I just have level 4 instead of level 10. But now she will change her cooldown on the burst skill from 40 seconds to 20, making her a normal 20-second B1, which is 1,000 times better, right? Like 1,000 times better. Then we have a skill 2, which still towns for 4 seconds, which is the same. And then we'll also be proccing this max HP only once per battle, which for campaign is more than enough. So this doesn't really change much. What changes, however, is this one right here. So activates when entering full burst while in fervor status, which is her burst. Affect all allies, cooldown reduction 7.48 seconds. Now, cooldown reduction in Nike, it's really important, right? We know the importance of having a good CDR character, be it Little Mermaid, be it your Rappi, or one of the characters we have here with Declare Wife, Rogue, Litter, etc. 7.48 is the newest standard. Anyone with 7.48 second cooldown reduction will be usable, even if the kit is dogshit, like Solene Frost Ticket. Solene kit is one of the worst in the game, but since she has that line with 7.48 second cooldown, that already makes her a good unit. So you can imagine that someone with also new buffs, offensive buffs, will be a pretty good unit. Now, so far, the only thing that has changed is the cooldown reduction, right? That is not enough to make her a T1 character. The last thing that also makes her a fantastic character is the burst skill itself, where you will be getting not only the damage taken, not only the defense, but also an increased 36% of caster's attack to everyone in the team. And this is at level 7. At level 10, it's 40 something, if I remember correctly, for the treasure version. So if we go into Moran, I'm pretty sure at level 10, it's a 42%, yes. I wouldn't say it's worth taking it past level 7, it's pretty expensive, but clearly it can be done, right? She's a good character. So now she is reducing damage taken, giving defense and increasing attack for everyone on the team, while being a 20-second really good CDR character. So all of those things, like I said earlier, make it so you can use it on your main campaign team, no problem. Now Siren will always be better. Rapid Red Hood will always be better because they provide way more things to the team rather than the cooldown and some buffs, right? But still, she can compete there. In fact, when it comes to B1 characters, and when it comes to the T1 girls, so Declared Wife, Rogue, and Litter. Rogue and Declared Wife are their specific niche, so max HP and pierce teams, but she is competing with Litter. The problem with Litter is that her buffs are 5 seconds and you need 3 rotations in order to get proper cooldown reduction, right? Which in campaign, in hard campaign and everything else is a pain in the ass, and it means you cannot really use Litter at high deficit nowadays. So that's why she is a T1 character. Now let's talk a little bit about investment tips and how you want to be building this beautiful girl. First thing is gear. Overall, if you cared about sub DPS, basic beach DPS build, right? Elemental attack, max ammo, nothing else. Some hit rate could help her. But doesn't matter what she gets. She is not a DPS. She is going to be acting as a support unit most of the time. And for that, you only need to worry about giving her more stats. The higher her stats, the higher her attack, the higher her buff will be on burst. Okay, so that's the only thing we care about. When it comes to skills, a skill 1 does not need to go plus level 1, okay? Like a skill level 1 is fine. Level 7 if you want to be building her as a DPS character for this to proc and deal more damage. A skill 2 has to be at least level 8 for the cooldown reduction to be good, right? 8 is more than enough, but if you want to be sure you have the perfect rotations, smooth rotations, go to level 10. And then her burst is a level 7 or a level 10, depending how many resources you want to be spending on her. I think it's justifiable to be going for level 10, like I said earlier. She is a good character. If you like her, you can use her as your main B1 for all content right now, which is crazy, right? So 7 to 10, same here. Skill 2, 8+, and then skill 1 is going to be either a 1 or a 7. When it comes to her cube, same thing as the gear. The only thing that matters is higher stats. You don't care about anything else. So resilience or bastion for most people will be the play. I'm going with resilience at the moment. She is a 1.5 second reload time, so it's pretty good for her, even though I got plenty of max ammo. Bastion could work as well. And then when it comes to pros and cons for her treasure, there are a couple of things to understand. The first one is, like I was saying earlier, right? Any character with the new standard for CDR automatically becomes a character that can be used in most content. But she's not only providing the CDR, but also useful buffs on her burst while reducing everyone's damage taken. Okay, so that's why she is so good, not only because of the CDR. When it comes to her taunt, I think while I was pushing campaign, she only died twice. So it can get her killed, but for most content, it's fine. She will also keep herself alive the first couple times if this doesn't proc, right? Like if somehow a raptor actually targets her, she can keep herself alive if this proc. Obviously, at high deficit, you will not go below 20%, you are just dead, right? You go from 100 to 0. So once again, this can get her killed, but for most content, it was no problem for me, even under like 700k, 800k combat power difference, almost 1 million combat power difference, etc. And then the last note that's at the bottom, like I said earlier, it's investment-wise for her skill. It will depend what you're doing. To me, a skill 1 is not worth taking higher, but if you want her to be a sub DPS, then you can take it to level 7. And then lastly, before we end the Japin session, we can talk a little bit about CDR. I ran 2 things, a couple harvester runs where we had no issue fully clearing harvester, even though it was slower, clearly was slower, and Siren is still the best character here, right? But Moran was doing pretty well. Even with the awful rolls she was doing similar damage to Rapid Red Hood as a B1, right? And then instead of harvester, we also did the Union Rage to compare with other CDR units with Cinderella and Sameranis. And the results are pretty fucking good. We're talking about the 7.7 Cinderella here, right? With Siren 7.6, which is crazy that Moran is, making her do similar damage because there's gonna be some RNG always to a Little Mermaid. Then we tried Rapid Red Hood doing 7.1, she's the worst for Cinderella specifically, and then we were going with Rogue as well, and she was doing 7.7. So we're talking about the character that has no problem to compete with everyone on that T1 category, right? And some people might even argue for her to be a T0. I don't think it's the case, but I could see it being made. That's it. That's basically everything for our Moran review. Updated tier list for her. I'll make a video later today or tomorrow talking about privacy. I do want to run some extra tests before I do that. Enough jumping, enough ranting though. That's everything for today's video. As usual, we are live every single day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by in the streams. Links in the description down below. Good luck with your pool, the internets, and I'll see you on the next one.